So the zone diet is very popular in CrossFit, and I'm sure you're familiar with it, the basic principles of it. How would you evaluate sort of the basic principles of the zone, with a 40-30-30 balance, and how does that compare or contrast to your recommendations?
Well, I'm just saying, the two, like, first of all, the zone gets rid of the sugars and the highly refined flours, which are the problem. But the sugars, again, fundamental problem. So what you want to do with any diet is, if you can get rid of sugar, high fructose corn syrup, that's half the battle. Whether or not it's going to make you lean, I don't know. And then the question is, we talked about at the Q&A, what we mean, once you're metabolically deranged. So now you're overweight, you're obese, you're insulin resistant. How strictly do you have to restrict carbs to get an effect? And that's going to be different for everyone.
Right.
So some people, the zone is fine, and then you're getting, unrefined carbs, you're getting good carbs, you're going to be fine. It's probably have, might make, exercising easier, endurance exercising easier. But for other people, that's not going to be enough.
Enough of a reduction in carbohydrate.
Enough of a reduction. So it's like the dose of the intervention. How high a dose do you need of carb restriction?
Right.
And like the zone is a moderate dose.
Right.
If you go to Atkins induction, a ketogenic diet, that's an extreme dose. That's how I see it. And so the question is, for some people, an extreme dose is necessary. It's always going to be necessary.
Right.
For some people, you start with an extreme dose, and then you find that your body normalizes and it gets healthy.
Right.
And a year or two down the line, you can, moderate the dose and be fine.
Right. Right.
And some people, because there's a lot of interest, a lot of young people who are embracing CrossFit and paleo diets now, they'll never need an extreme dose,
right?
Because they're never going to do the damage that our generation did to ourselves.
Yeah, which is amazing, which is fantastic. And ironically, so when Greg and CrossFit embrace the zone, they're really embracing the weighing and measuring of it. And if you start with 40-30-30, you start with 20, 60-20, of fat being to 60, you might, you have a different. You're still weighing and measuring, and then you're still able to evaluate a response and then tweak it if your body normalizes or if you're not getting the results that you want.
No, and that's the thing. A lot of this we discussed is about self-experimentation.
Right.
So I do think I've managed to convince myself that fat is very good for you, and the more fat, the better.
Okay.
So I don't see any reason for a 30% fat diet. Getting back to the zone, it's like,
Yeah, just bump it, just crank it.
But again, it's all about self-experimentation and not being, holding on to the dogma that you've heard from your doctor and the last 20, 30 years of nutritionists who, the obesity and diabetes epidemics tell us they didn't know what they were doing.
Right.
That's proof of a failed hypothesis.
Yeah, yeah.
If nothing else, we should be open-minded to these other ideas.